Hi guys, I got a quick video for you today. So as you know, if you're following the channel at all, I'm in the heat of basically groundhog season, and during this time I'm shooting this gun a lot, and I'm running hot loads, and hot loads will wear a barrel. So you kind of got to check that from time to time, especially if you see some weird stuff happen out in the field, right? So I make a lot of trips to the range, check my zero all the time before I go out. And sometimes you just see your accuracy kind of slip. And a lot of times, at least for me, what I've noticed is your seating depth will actually need to change as you fire the gun and wear, the lands out. So every time you fire that thing, you're heating up those lands and you basically start to lengthen those, right? Wear those away. So now your seating depth starts to change. Like if you're sitting at 6 thou and then all of a sudden you fire this thing like 1,000 times, well, maybe your seating depth now is actually, 8 to 10 thou off the lands because you've worn away basically that, the throat or the riflings there. So, and what you'll do as you wear a gun is you'll notice that your bullets need to get longer and longer and longer until you cannot basically reach the riflings anymore. It's over. It's barrel job time. So I'm just checking this today. So we'll pull this guy. This guy's totally clear. Pull this bolt out of here. And what I use to do this is the Hornady overall length gauge, right? And you use the bullet that you're, basically working with. So what I have is I have the original bullet for this guy, so that every time I measure with this tool, I'm always using the same bullet because there are some differences from lot to lot. I don't care about the difference from lot to lot. I only care about I'm only trying to figure out what's going on in the chamber. So I use the same bullet, right? And of course I measure this with a new lot of bullets too to make sure, everything's, lining up right. My seating depth's right because that's a very big knob. All right, so anyways, you just put this thing in here. Now, I keep track of this on a spreadsheet. So it's probably just a couple times a year. It really averages about anywhere from 600 to about 800 rounds. I start to see a little bit of difference on this guy, and that's about where I'm at now. So when I'm reloading, you also, if you have a lot of like 100 pieces of brass, like I do, right, or several hundreds, I'm not going to load all those up the same, especially if I know I'm getting close, because you could make a whole bunch of junk, right? And the seating depth could end up being wrong by the time you get to those reloads. So what I do is I just keep a fresh supply of about 20. Anyways, I measured this guy when I first got the rifle, and my reading, well, it's just, the overall length gauge uses this guy, right? So this is 24 cal, so I got the 24, the number 3, I guess, jig in here. And this measures the bullet from the ogive, whatever you want to call it. And what I do is I basically put this guy in here and I zero out the gauge, right? And it roughly reads at rate about an inch, right? And then I measure the bullet when it comes out of here. Let's do that real quick. And let's see what we get. So right there I'm reading, if I were to read this, right, just based on the numbers you're seeing, it'd be 3.273, okay? 3.273. Now I do this the same way every time. Here's the thing. I've probably got 600 rounds, 700 rounds through this guy. My last measurement on this gun was 3.268. So this guy has changed 5 thou, okay? And I'll measure it a couple times because I'll tell you that gauge is finicky. If you're using the overall length gauge, you need to double, triple, quadruple check your numbers. Sometimes they show up real short. Usually don't show up too long. If you're going too long, you start to get the bullet hung up in the chamber. Anyways, this guy's about 5 thou over. Now I've already double checked it. I'll triple check it again, but I'm pretty sure it's lengthened up here. So I'll have to adjust my reloads, and of course I'll have to make a trip to the range here to make sure my performance is good. My performance hasn't really slipped per se. I run these guys at anywhere between 4 to 6 thou from the lands. So if that chamber changes a little bit, I know I'm I'm in kind of a sweet range. It's not like it has to be, kidding. No, it's got to be 6 thou on the money, or this thing's gonna suck. It doesn't really work like that. So I try to find like where my limit is. From the previous video, we ran this guy at 300 yards. You could see 10 thou off the lands, things started to kind of fall apart. But 2, 6 thou, probably all the way out to about 8, 7, 8, something like that, is kind of the edge. And I'm not really, I'm not really there. I'm running these guys at about 4 thou plus the 3 potentially that I'm picking up. So I'm getting close to the edge, I guess. But I haven't seen anything, kind of show up in terms of accuracy drop. But I know it's going to happen. It's coming, So I just wanted to throw this really quick video together. Check your seating depth in your gun as it wears out. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to wear. Okay, so especially if you're running hot loads and shooting F class or something where you're just dumping tons of rounds down this thing. You guys shooting F class know this, I'm sure. But for your average Joe, if you're out there goofing off at the range all the time, you're going to wear it out. So check it. All right, that's all I got today. Thanks.